On Monday afternoon, Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy appeared on Fox News to make claims that people on the terrorist watch list from Yemen, Iran, and Turkey are being caught at the U.S.-Mexico border. Let's take a quick look at this clip.
And you talk to those agents, it's not just people from Mexico or Honduras or El Salvador. They're now finding people from Yemen, Iran, Turkey. People on the terrorist watch list they are catching, and they're rushing it all at once. And when you go up to Monument 3 and you talk to those agents.
So here's the thing about this clip that is, I mean, obvious to everyone else. There's absolutely, first and foremost, there's no evidence to substantiate this claim. This is what conservatives generally do, particularly when they get an opportunity to speak in a way that is xenophobic and in a way that is or a part of the culture wars or anything that they can use to scare people. This is a high-ranking official of the United States, and he is using his voice and his platform to fearmonger in a way that is not only detrimental to the people he's targeting, it's detrimental to this country. He is doing, and it's not to make a mountain out of a molehill, but really consider what he's saying. He's trying to make everyone terrified of the idea. It's twofold, that at our border, there is a crisis that is allowing quote unquote terrorists into the country. Standard talking point that Republicans have used to increase funding down at the border, to increase our military presence at the border, but also standard language that's used to further the oppression of people who are seeking asylum in this country. Asylum from countries that are generally undermined by America's foreign policy. The reason they're coming here is because America had a hand in the destabilization of their own nations. But I digress. The point is that this is the next move of the Republican Party, or a continuation of their strategy that they tamped down on during the Trump administration. During the Trump administration, they didn't have to have an excuse to try to scare the American people into doing things at the border because they had Donald Trump in the White House. And now that they don't have Donald Trump in the White House, they've gone back to their original playbook, which is we should be afraid of the people who are trying to come into the United States of America. We shouldn't be accountable for the things that we did to create the conditions from which people are seeking asylum. No, we should be terrified of them because they are potential terrorists. In addition to this, Republicans have actually doubled down on this level of bigotry because they are now referring to the people who are coming across, to asylum seekers and immigrants, referring to them as carriers of the coronavirus. Right? They are drawing an analog. They are drawing a direct comparison, which is 100% rooted in fascistic Nazi propaganda, tying an entire people to a plague, tying an entire people to a virus, comparing them and contrasting them with being the cause of the spread of this virus. But it also just speaks volumes about the level to which Republicans and conservatives in this country are willing to dehumanize an entire group of people for simple political wins. Nothing to be gained here. Nothing to be gained here except for scoring cheap political points. Yep. That's it. There's absolutely no win here for the House Minority Leader except for getting favor in the eyes of Donald Trump and the conservative movement, who wants us to fear the very people who are seeking asylum from the chaos that we created. That's number one. Number two, to tie in the Yemeni people who are already subjugated to one of the most horrific humanitarian crises in the history of our planet. And that humanitarian crisis is tied directly to the United States because of our partnership with Saudi Arabia. Those are our bombs that are being dropped. Those are our weapons that are being used. That is our validation of the blockades and the famine and the sheer horror that parents have to deal with every single day as they see their emaciated bodies of their children. That is the result of the United States. And Kevin McCarthy has the nerve to throw them in there just for good measure, because it's so easy to vilify people that you don't see every day. It's so easy to vilify a specific group of people that you don't see every day. Black and brown people. For him to throw in Iran for good measure, because of course everyone is terrified of Iran. Never mind the fact that the reason anyone should be afraid of anything, it should be Iran terrified of the United States of America, because we don't know. They don't know to what extent America is going to be able to hold on to any of their promises, any of the promises in the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. We reneged on that. We reneged on that. That was us. That was Donald Trump, the Trump administration, the United States of America, your tax dollars, my tax dollars. We reneged on that. But no, it's so easy to make people afraid of the big bad wolf, because the United States, if we're not good at anything else, we are absolutely fundamentally good at making people terrified of an entire group of people and using that fear to commit atrocities over and over and over again. And so while this clip is just a really short clip, it is a prelude to what this country dreams of doing. A huge portion of this country dreams, absolutely dreams, of vilifying entire groups of people, because we got to have a place to drop our weapons. We have to have a group to dehumanize. We have to be able to stretch our imperialistic legs across the globe. And what better way to do it than to make sure that we not only are terrified of people at our border, but we're also terrified of people who are victims of American imperialism, who are victims of our partnerships with Saudi Arabia, who are victims of the continued vilification of entire groups of people, because there's money, there's profit to be made in conflict, there's profit to be made in dehumanization, and there's profit to be made off the backs of the military industrial complex.